Okay. Sorry, folks. We were having some technical difficulties.
What the fuck is this?
Guys, come on. Your dad did. Sorry, folks. I apologize. Are you in, D? Oh, hello? Oh, come on. What is going on today? You're not muted. Hi, Brent. We're having technical difficulties. I can't hear D. I think she hung up or is still muted. Yeah. Understatement. It was fine the other day and now it's acting stupid. I don't know what's going on. Um I might have to stop this and restart the whole darn thing. I don't know what's going on cuz we've never had this problem before. Yeah. Um she's leaving and coming back. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully we'll get it figured out. Okay. I thought we had it fixed. I guess we don't. Hmm. Well, this is going to be a interesting episode if this continues. Um okay. I am not sure what's going on. All right, let's see if we can get this worked out. We have never had this happen before. Well, not this exact problem. Yeah, for some reason her account's not letting her log in. I don't know what's going on. It's weird, but we're trying to get it fixed. This is so strange. We literally had this working. We were working on some things to teach her how to share her screen and stuff, but it wasn't working. I mean, it was working fine, and then we left and came back, and now it's not working. Um, uh-oh. All right. It's just going to be one of those days. I am so sorry. I do not know what is going on. This is so strange. Um, okay. I don't know what to do. I can't exactly help. Let me mute for a second while I give her a call on her phone and see if we can come up with a solution that way. Well, after I find my damn phone, which has gone missing, but one second and I'll try to be right back. God damn it. There it is. No, stop. Oh, stop. Can we hear you now? Okay. Oh, I wasn't muted. Shit, I thought I muted myself. Okay, well, I guess I didn't. I don't know what's going on. This is bizarre. Oh, I know what's going on. Oh my gosh. Um, oh no, that's the right one. It's still showing you offline though. I know, but I'm looking at the studio and the studio is showing you are offline. Even to join the studio. Okay, Brent, can you hear Dee talking? Hold on. Oh yeah, that's an understatement. Okay. It looks like you are not. Oh, I had the wrong one up. Okay. One second. There we go. Now we got the right one up. You should be able to be heard and or mostly seen. And then we're going to have to figure out what the hell happened.
Yeah, I like I said, I didn't touch it. I don't go in it until it's time to go. So, no,
Yeah. And normally like you've jumped in after I've set it to go live before and we've
right,
never had this problem.
correct.
So it doesn't make sense to me why all of a sudden it's acting stupid.
Well, could be the subject that we're going to talk about. You never know.
It could be. It
Mm.
very well could. Um
This
but
has
I do
been,
have those
I'm
pictures
telling you,
ready when you're ready.
well, I'm so,
Vent a little first.
yeah, I'm so effing, I'll try not to swear, effing frustrated right now. Today, last night, and today has been, uh, I'm pissed. That's all I have to say is I'm just pissed.
I can believe it.
I can't, I feel like I'm freaking spinning my wheels for no reason. Anyway, I've wasted enough time trying to mess around with this. I apologize, everybody. I have no idea what is wrong. We've never encountered this before, and I've been unable to get into the studio. So either that's a sign the crazy bee's in charge today, or it could be what our first topic's going to be about, or maybe our second topic, uh,
Yeah.
which is a pretty wild story. So if you want to get started, Crazy Bee. Before we do though, we're crushing it in the numbers as a new group that just a new podcast that just came about, but we're not getting enough likes and follows. I would love you to subscribe or follow us on Rumble, but we really need the likes to help boost the algorithm. And for the first time, I was able to do a search and get a hit on our name, albeit I think 3 pages down. But at least you can find us now, and we are moving up a little bit from being underwater. So, again, if you could please hit the like button for us, we'd greatly appreciate it. I know it's a little weird on Rumble. When I'm out there myself, I tend to forget to hit the like button, but if you could do so, we'd appreciate it. And with that, I guess we could get started.
Yeah, we can get started if you want. I know
Okay.
you said you wanted to show off these beautiful
Oh,
pictures.
yeah. I have two pictures I'd like to share with you. Jacob, who,
Oh,
go ahead.
oh, well, I wanted to make sure I got the right one up first.
Okay.
Put
It
them in
doesn't matter.
order.
Either or, whichever one you want to do.
There we go.
Okay. This, in addition, the baby turned 3 weeks old on Saturday. And here we have two more new babies, named their brother and sister, named Tom and Quinn, and they are part of his 4-H program. They came yesterday, uh, and I will tell you what, I thought the chickens were loud. These
Nope.
two, oh, these two, I can't even describe to you how loud they are. There's no words to say how loud the bleeding was from the time they got out of the vehicle into their pen area. They did not want to go in. Obviously they didn't want to leave the truck, and they got them down. They put a dog collar around one and the leash around the other, and they basically were pulling them down the driveway. And my husband was all upset, screaming, "You're choking them to death. They can't breathe." So he ends up picking up the one, and the one ended up crapping all over him. It was the fun, funny,
He scared the shit out of it.
exactly the funniest thing I've seen in a long time. He had that thing up underneath its legs, right up like underneath the shoulder, like on a human,
Hmm.
carrying it down the driveway. All four legs are sticking out, and all of a sudden he just starts crapping everywhere. So we thought that was pretty funny. And so they had a rather
Oh,
weird night.
I wanted to get closer to the goats.
Yeah,
Yes.
jumping up. All they're doing is jumping. So EJ is going to have to get the outside pen built sooner than later because they're just crazy. Uh,
Oh, yeah. They're going to start headbutting people too when they like them.
Really? We've never had the goats before, so
Oh,
and I'm
yeah. Goats will headbutt you if they find you to be part of their family.
oh, okay. That'll be interesting then. So again, they're part of the 4-H program. It's going to be hard probably for me to let them go, but it has to happen because the 4-H program tries to teach the kids from beginning to end of the life cycle of the food chain.
Yeah.
And that's going to be difficult, but I said, I guess I'll have to go to the auction and buy them. But in reality, we have to let this happen in order for him to learn and to process, what the cycle
And
of life
why
that
certain
is.
animals are not pets
Right,
and others are.
right.
Yes.
And that's one thing that when they got the chickens, they didn't name them and they didn't turn them into pets at all, for that very reason, so that you wouldn't get too close to them. But it's
Yes.
hard because all of the animals are adorable. So
Oh,
That
all animals are adorable, but some taste better than others.
I know, and we could have had a cow, but I don't think we were ready for a cow, so they opted
Yeah.
for the 2 goats. And then so that was Saturday afternoon, and then what's next is what he did Saturday morning. And
Yep.
he caught a 25-inch Palomino trout, and guess what? He made the front page of our local angler fishing club, and we're very proud of him. I didn't even know these things existed. I was shocked
Mhm.
uh, that that came out of that creek right behind him. He fought it mostly by himself, and then one of his dad's friends helped him reel it in. But he went to have it mounted instead of putting it back, which I would have done. But I understand again
That's
why.
a rare catch.
Yes, that's what they said, that it was a rare catch. I never even knew that I mean, who knew they existed? And I didn't get a chance to read the story, but there's something they call them golden muted trout, and there's a story that goes behind how they became golden trout. So I'll have to read
Okay.
that, and maybe we'll post that if it's a good
On the
story.
server.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So we could put that in the Discord. So that was yesterday morning. Then there were the goats, and then he slept overnight on his usual Saturday. And I've had enough, enough. No more babies, no more fish. We're done. You know, literally no more babies. So, and the baby was down here too today. So that was pretty fun. But so that was that, and then working with Crazy Bee for oh what 2.5 hours, I guess.
Oh,
This
easily
morning.
this morning.
Whew, it was
Easily.
rough, wasn't it? I was stressed by the time when
We
I
got
called
through
her.
it.
Yeah, but I was stressed when I called her because I had all kinds of problems. I did all this research. I sent her all this stuff last night, and then I was having all kind of new laptop problems. So I called. So by the time I was getting ready to hang up from her, I had stressed her out as bad as I was stressed.
It was more my family getting on my nerves at the moment than you. I'm gonna be very honest.
Oh,
They saw and heard me trying to help you and
yeah,
still felt the need to
interrupt.
pester a little at the wrong time.
Why do they do that? I don't understand. It's like when as soon
Well,
as
I
you get
think
on the
also
phone.
my shortness is coming from how much pain I'm in right now.
Yes. Yeah,
From not having my pain meds until
right,
tomorrow afternoonish
oh,
and all the other stuff going on. I'm just done.
right. I hear you. I was done on well, remember Friday how out of it I was, and,
Mhm.
I as soon as we hung up, I immediately I had something to eat, went to bed, slept the entire I was up a couple times, but for the first time in a long time, slept the entire
Mhm.
night, got up, in the morning and I realized what happened. I had started some new medication, but I had taken a prescription antihistamine, which they didn't say it would interact, but I believe that's what caused it. And I think that's why I was so drowsy and out of it. So I'll have to pay attention.
Yeah.
Like we talked, maybe take it a little bit later instead of. I don't usually take it, but the allergies have been so bad with everything growing, but, it's been a
Yes.
weird couple days for us, hasn't it? I mean, if it's
Oh,
not you,
yeah.
it's me. Like, we keep rotating back and forth. It's her, it's me, it's her, it's me. It's like we just can't get our act together right now, so we'll
Oh,
call
that's too much. That's overrated.
what's overrated.
Getting our act together. To
Oh,
hell with
okay.
that shit.
We don't think that's ever gonna happen, right? No,
No.
we'll do our best. That's all we can do, and like we said, what you see is what you get. It's raw, it's unfiltered, and, no plans or, nothing's really pre-planned. We might talk about a topic, but, we don't get into any specifics about a subject. We had an
Yep.
interesting, what we're going to show you next is we had a little interesting dialogue of how we prepared this because I was concerned about timing and trying to keep the video short for Crazy Bee's end. And then once we got into it, she was like, "Oh, I want more context. I want more." So this is probably going to be a little bit. It's a longer video.
It's about 15, 16 minutes long.
Oh, you did good then. No, I'm impressed. From 2 hours,
2-hour video
right?
down to 15 minutes.
That's
Yeah.
very good. That's excellent, Crazy Bee. Uh, I listened to it twice. Uh, it's so disturbing to me that I told Crazy Bee it needed to be our number one story. I had not heard of it. It's been going on for a couple days. I hadn't heard a word about it, and then it hit my feed, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" So we'll play it, and then if you want to stop and we can talk about it, or we could talk about it at the end. There's a lot of questions.
Well,
Uh,
we're going to have to break it up because nobody wants to sit and watch a 15-minute video
okay, that's
because
fine.
they
Then
could go watch that on their own if
okay,
they wanted to do that.
all right.
But
Well, we'll
we can
break it up,
definitely break
and
it up and chime in.
all right, that's fine. Like I said, to me, I find this extremely disturbing. And the problem is, it's too damn late to do a damn thing about it. And I don't think anybody's going to be held accountable.
Oh,
So,
I doubt it.
nope,
When does ever anyone get held accountable? Especially when they're paying the kickbacks to the politicians to allow this shit to happen.
exactly. Exactly. So, with that being said, here comes our Sunday surprise for you.
All right, let's hit play.
Now, let me introduce our witness. Sarah Wynne Williams is the former director of global public policy at Facebook. She's a former New Zealand diplomat and international lawyer who first joined Facebook after pitching her own job. After leaving the company, she's continued to work on tech policy, including artificial intelligence. Now, all of that you can learn from reading the back of her book, but there's more to it than that. She worked at Facebook from 2011 through 2017. She witnessed Facebook's rise from a niche tech company to a global superpower capable of bullying nation states. And she wasn't just some mid-level functionary. She worked closely with Mark Zuckerberg and Sheryl Sandberg. She arranged their meetings with world leaders across the globe. She heard their plans for China. She's no ordinary whistleblower, and she comes to tell us not merely about what has happened, but also what is coming. Now, it is our practice, Ms. Wynne Williams, and the Judiciary Committee and its subcommittees to swear in our witnesses before they testify. So if you would, let me invite you to rise, raise your right hand, and we'll get started. Senator Blumenthal, if you're ready, I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks very much, Mr. Chairman. In order to operate in China, the Communist Party requires American companies to register with authorities and host servers inside the country. And I think it's pretty well known that Chinese law requires that security services are allowed access to any data hosted within the country. Did any of Facebook's security team or its engineers raise concerns to management about Americans' private information being exposed to Chinese spying?
Yes, Senator, they did.
And how did they do that?
They documented their concern in a number of ways. They noted that this would happen, that the Chinese would get access to the data, and they also noted their concern in other discussions and other documentation, saying, my red line as a security engineer is to not be comfortable with this, but my red line is not Mark Zuckerberg's red line.
Maybe you can explain what you mean by that.
The engineer was saying that they were not comfortable with the way the China project was structured that would allow the Chinese Communist Party to potentially access American citizens' data. But in saying that, they noted that, that's a red line for me as a security engineer. That's not Mark Zuckerberg's red line.
Did you sense he had any red line?
I did not.
If he did, you don't know what it was.
I don't.
If you have more information related to these spying risks, would you be willing to share it with the committee?
I would, Senator.
And Mark Zuckerberg was knowledgeable about the planning, and do you know whether he was knowledgeable about the risks as well?
My understanding is that the risk is the hardest part of the plan, so it's unthinkable that he was not aware of the risk.
Nothing happened here without his approval and knowledge.
This was a project unlike any other project I worked on during my time at Meta, in that it was so centrally led by Mark Zuckerberg, and he was so personally invested in this project. He learnt Mandarin. He traveled to China more than any other country. He had weekly Mandarin sessions with employees. This was, it's hard to overstate how different this project was to any other project I experienced in my many years at the company.
So there would be no credibility to his denying that he knew about the risks, he knew about the concerns raised by his engineers and his China team, and he was intimately
I want
involved
to pause
in
this for a
not
second.
only the planning and the engineering,
Go
but
ahead.
also in taking those
Why
risks.
am I not
So
able to
he
pause
was
it?
traveling to Beijing.
In the documents submitted to
So I want to point out that when you go and you take up the language just to try and sell this, and Mandarin is not easy. Took two semesters in college. Not easy. For him to be doing this, he really desperately wants China involved.
Well, it gets worse than that.
This is scary, and that and the way that he's trying to make and he's disregarding the engineers. He really is bought and sold. He don't give a shit about America at that point.
He doesn't, and it gets worse. It,
Okay.
it is, and the problem that I have is it's too late.
Yeah.
Whatever you have on Facebook, it's there. They have it. Uh, a lot of people put everything in there. You know what I mean? They put dates of birth. They put family stuff in their dates.
Yeah, on their
Anniversary.
calendars to share
Yeah,
with their friends.
right. They put where they graduated from college. They list all of their jobs. They
All of
they
their classmates.
Yes, photos after photos. Just wait till as this continues. I'm telling you, I'm extremely disturbed. And
Uh-huh.
there's shit that has bothered me that's gone on with this country. This shit though is really, I'm very very upset, disturbed about it. And well, let it continue. I don't want to give anything away yet.
Yeah,
Cause
let's finish,
okay,
hit
go
and
ahead.
play and go from there.
Okay.
the subcommittee, Facebook appears to have been willing to provide the
Hey,
data
Art.
of users in Hong Kong to the Chinese government at a time when pro-democracy protesters were opposing Beijing's crackdown. Is that impression correct? And how did Facebook treat Taiwan or Hong Kong?
So that impression is correct. One of the more surprising things is that as part of the censorship tool that was developed, there were virality counters. So anytime a piece of content got over 10,000 views, that would automatically trigger it being reviewed by what they called the chief editor. And what was particularly surprising is that the virality counters were not just installed, but activated in Hong Kong and also in Taiwan.
Let me ask you, I raised in my remarks, and I know that a number of other colleagues did as well, the record of misrepresentation and deceit. One of our former colleagues, Senator Leahy, asked Mark Zuckerberg in 2018 whether Facebook would comply with Chinese censorship and surveillance demand. He even asked if Facebook had built censorship tools to enter the Chinese market, and Zuckerberg responded, I'm quoting, "Because Facebook has been blocked in China since 2009, we are not in a position to know exactly how the government would seek to apply its laws and regulations on content were we permitted to offer our service."
But with what they did in 2020, that goes to prove the censorship works, and they now would easily be able to implement it again for China.
Well, let's just say they were involved in the presidential elections.
I heard about that.
They were
Yes, that
involved
one
in
actually
they were
very
involved
much came forward.
in COVID, and who knows what else. Then
Yep,
why
and I
have
like what Art had to say. I'm gonna pull it up again, is if you put your info out there, then it's on you, not Zuckerberg or China. We can choose what we put out there, whether it's accurate or not.
well, we had the discussion on some of these platforms require you to put information in. I'll be honest, I've changed my date of birth, stuff like that, and not told the truth because
Oh, yeah, same here.
I don't want all my shit out there. But how many people aren't aware of that? And again, this is something that you're not taught. Look at what our children are doing. You know, this is something that needs to be addressed. But as this continues, okay, with the photos and what's coming, it doesn't matter that I don't post anything or whatever. It's possible you're going to take a picture of me and put it up on your page.
Mhm.
You just wait till you hear what they can do with that photo.
Oh, I know what they can do,
Uh
but
huh.
most people may not. I know quite a few people in my group are tech savvy,
Yep.
in our group and our chats and everything, and on my
Yep.
Discord and stuff, we're the tech savvy ones. But there
Uh,
are a lot of people out there who are not tech savvy.
and that's
So,
the thing. And how do you get that message out? I mean, you don't.
well, that's what we're
I
doing.
was I was extremely concerned. I'm not on TikTok, right? For the
Uh
reason
huh.
the whole China issue, and even though Trump got involved, I just said I'm staying away from TikTok. Well, you know what? We freaking had to worry about Facebook all this time. That little mf'er he sold us out. So keep going. It's disgusting. It's disturbing. It's disgusting, and I don't know what to do about it.
I like our my online profile is what the CIA calls a legend. It's not real, but Art has a date of birth, etc., but it's not mine.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yep. Go ahead.
To Chinese users. Ms. Williams, was that accurate?
That is not accurate. Hundreds of decisions had been made. And by 2018, they'd been in dialogue directly with the Chinese Communist Party for 4 years.
The fact is, by 2018, Facebook built, it even turned on censorship and surveillance tools that it developed. It developed for Chinese security officials, correct?
It developed, and those Chinese Communist Party officials tested the censorship tool and would give feedback and say, this needs to change, or we need this, or we need confidence that you can capture images and filter images we don't want seen.
You know, we talk a lot about 1984. Facebook developed a virility counter tool that directed any posts of over 10,000 views to be reviewed by an Orwellian named, quote unquote, chief editor. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And was the chief editor's geographic reach limited to mainland China, or did they plan to cover other locations?
They plan to cover Hong Kong and Taiwan, is my understanding.
So their surveillance operation was directed at Taiwan
That's my understanding, Senator.
and Hong Kong.
That's my understanding.
Was the editor-in-chief's or the chief editor's power limited to reviewing viral posts?
Oh, no, it's extensive power. The chief editor would be able to turn off the entire service in specific regions, for example, Xinjiang, or would also be able to turn off or manage the service on significant anniversaries like the anniversary of Tiananmen Square.
So the chief editor, a creation of Facebook, was an Orwellian censor that applied to locations outside mainland China, to Taiwan and Hong Kong, to people not within the legal jurisdiction of China, but also obviously the Chinese themselves. And it was designed and implemented by Meta and Mark Zuckerberg.
Correct, Senator.
Even though its very existence was denied before this committee in 2018.
That's correct, Senator.
Silicon Valley companies are famous, as you know, for their moonshot programs such as Google X. In recent years, Mark Zuckerberg spent billions of dollars on the metaverse and AI. He even named or renamed the company as part of a pivot to focus on that technology. Did Facebook engage in any moonshot efforts in China? And were these efforts walled off or protected from the Communist Party?
And they did, Senator, and I'd be happy to follow up with the committee on this point.
You'd prefer to follow up privately? Just one last question. I'm interested in how much of a national champion Meta actually is for the United States. Did Facebook share information about its facial recognition, artificial intelligence models, and other sensitive technologies to Chinese security officials? In other words, did it share that significant technology regarding facial recognition and other surveillance methods?
Look, the greatest trick Mark Zuckerberg ever pulled was wrapping the American flag around himself and calling himself a patriot and saying he didn't offer services in China while he spent the last decade building an $18 billion business there.
And he wrapped the flag around himself even as he disclosed sensitive technologies that enabled the Chinese to gain the upper hand on surveilling its citizens, but also the upper hand in engaging with us.
And he continues to wrap the flag around himself as we move into the next era of artificial intelligence.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Blackburn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am delighted that we are having this hearing today. I thank you for this. And Ms. Wynne Williams, I want to thank you for stepping forward and for speaking. Senator Blumenthal.
Oh, hold on. Congress can pass laws to control this anytime they like or repeal the Section 2030, so
Yep.
Crimea River.
Yep.
I think they're just finding a reason to do so at this point. I think they are really trying to find a reason. This is their hunt for an excuse to do so.
Mm-hmm.
But that also means that they will probably have stricter control over social media, worse than what we saw under the 2020 to 2024 era.
Well,
It's a
yeah,
can't win,
it's
can't lose.
exactly. As far as I'm concerned right now, I think Facebook is worse than mainstream media as far
Well,
as the control that
I don't
they.
even use it.
Right. I'm just saying, people that are on there.
hmm
Given everything that I heard, and I suggest that everybody go and listen to the 2 hour plus hearing. And again, it'll be in the description below. It made me think about exactly where people are getting their information, and what is being controlled. That's the part
hmm
that I don't like, and that's on all social media platforms that we have to be concerned about. It's TikTok, it's YouTube, it's Rumble, and so we're at the point of, what do we believe? I just, it's very disturbing to me. I mean, I knew Facebook was doing things, and what they have access to, but this has escalated way beyond anything that I thought. I don't recall, a CNN or Fox News going over to China saying, we got to get in bed with you. Where Zuckerberg, I believe it comes a little bit later. You'll hear some more information on what he did with them. So why don't you go
Yeah.
ahead and hit play?
Alrighty.
Blumenthal and I last year brought forward the Kids Online Safety Act, and this is a piece of legislation we have worked on for years. It came through the Senate on a 91-3 vote. It failed in the House. As you would imagine, Meta spent millions of dollars lobbying against us and against the legislation, while at the same time they were claiming how much they cared for children and how they wanted to take care of children. And of course, one of the problems, as we have heard these heartbreaking stories from parents of trying to reach out to Meta, no response, of the cyberbullying that was taking place, the pleas from principals and child psychiatrists to do something, and yet they would not do it. And I noted in
I want to point out cyberbullying has been around long before Facebook. When there were chat rooms and stuff like that, this has been around. It's not anything new. What this is a societal problem, not teaching kids to be proper, and kind online like we teach them to be in person. So this is also a social problem, not a social media problem. I want to point that out. This has been
Yeah,
ongoing for decades.
I didn't read the act or anything that they had about it. Um,
Yeah.
I don't, if the Senate passed it, I'm surprised that the House didn't. But they're saying that Meta came in to fight against them on it, so I can only go by
Yep.
what he says. Uh,
Well, yeah,
well,
because if kids are restricted on what they can say, they're going to go to a different app.
exactly, exactly.
So, all right, let's get through this.
In your book, that you talked about Meta targeting children with ads based on their emotional state. And if you want to talk about something that is cruel, I'm a mom and a grandmom. And to kick a kid when they're down, that in essence is what it is kicking them while they're down. That is completely disgusting. And I find it so interesting that Mark Zuckerberg has said he's turned over a new leaf. My response to
Bullcrap.
that was,
Right.
leaves change color with the seasons of the year. And I am curious as to whether this is a season for him or if it is something that is truly going to be making a difference. And I think he should explain to us. He's been before this committee before, where he truly is. Now, one of the things we found out from other whistleblowers, and you mentioned in your book, that Meta's statement denying it engaged in targeting children was a flat-out lie, and the company had refused to audit these activities. We've heard that from other whistleblowers, that they were doing research and they knew what was happening, but they were so given to the dollar and having children as the product that themselves, children were addicted, but also Facebook and their leadership team had become addicted to the power that they held and to the money that they were making. But talk to me a little bit about your experience with Meta and how they would choose to cover up or deny that they were harming kids.
Thank you, Senator. One example is that Facebook was targeting 13 to 17-year-olds. It could identify when they were feeling worthless or helpless or like a failure. And they would take that information and share it with advertisers. One of the things about advertising is advertisers understand that when people don't feel good about themselves, it's often a good time to pitch a product. People are more likely to buy something. And so what the company was doing was letting these advertisers know that these 13 to 17-year-olds were feeling depressed and saying, now's a really good time to serve them an advertisement. Or if a 13-year-old girl would delete a selfie, that's a really good time to try and sell her a beauty product. Or if a 13-year-old girl is...
So let me interrupt right there.
Sure.
If she deleted a selfie, then Facebook was in essence, or Meta, Instagram, they were in essence tracking her activity online.
Absolutely. That
Okay.
was taken as a signal and then shared
Right.
with advertisers.
So they didn't stay given specifically to their app. They traveled in the child's phone.
Absolutely. So.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for that. I think it points up some of the harm that is there. One of the things I wanted we've talked about China and their launch of apps, Facebook's apps in China. I wanted to see if you could elaborate on the type data that would be found on Facebook servers located in China and the broader implications of allowing the CCP to have access to that data.
Senator, I mean, we've just spoken in your last question about, just one example of the amount of information that this company has. It is unfathomable. It's very, very hard to wrap your mind around the amount of data that this company has on each person who logs on to its service. It's of, private messages, but so much data. And all of that would channel through a POP server.
So then it is not just limited. The data Facebook holds or Meta holds is not just limited to the Meta application.
Not at all, Senator.
So basically, Meta has.
And what they're talking about there is when your app asks permission for your contact list or permission to your photos
Right.
or permission to your GPS
Yep.
and your calls.
And
That's the kind of stuff. But again, I got to side with Art on this. Why are the parents allowing it at an irresponsible age?
okay. Do the parents know this?
I kept tabs on my kids' phones and stuff. And there were times they would get around me, and hell, there was times I had to shut down I had to block their devices from the router at night, from the internet router, so they couldn't get internet to keep them offline while I wasn't there. You've got to put forth as much effort as you want to keep your kids safe. That's a parenting issue too.
I don't know if that's going on. I mean, obviously, it's not if they're going to be putting forth legislation.
Well, they're putting forth legislation because what the government can fix it like they did the schools and
Right.
everything else that the
Yeah,
government runs to
right,
control how we
right,
handle our kids.
right, right.
Why should we control our kids when the government can?
Exactly.
Take one more burden off of our
Also,
shoulders.
yep. One less thing to do in child rearing, correct?
Uh-huh. I see this as much like that. Again, I would go through and I would do my best to put parental controls and stuff on the kids' devices. And yeah, my little smart asses got around them a few different times, but I had to be one step ahead of them as best I could. I mean, I wasn't perfect, but I did what I could to
Right,
try and stop it.
right.
I can't expect the government or the schools to deal with it. That's my job.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get through the last few seconds. But yeah, I think parenting has a lot to blame on this as well as societal.
Has the ability to build what I call a virtual you of an individual, where they go, the transactions they have, the different apps that they rotate from one to another. Is that accurate?
Absolutely, Senator.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, that was the end of it.
Okay, there was a piece that I'm not sure where it was, but
I got to pull it up. There's still
the,
more. Yep. Just give me
well,
a few seconds.
on the video where Zuckerberg actually goes to Beijing to meet with Xi Jinping to have his child to have Xi Jinping name his child.
That's insane.
That's how close he is with them.
I wouldn't be okay with that.
And that is not just from this video. There's other confirmed sources saying that that actually took place. Now, this uh, this whistleblower here, she had a book come out. I believe it was around March 9th, and she is suggesting that Zuckerberg was sexually harassing her. So they're claiming that she's trying to get back at him for every statement that she makes. They're trying to charge her via an arbitrator $50,000, even if the statement is true. So Congress is supposed to step in and stop this arbitration and arbiter from fining her. So I'm
Mhm.
not sure where all of this is going to go, but we have more information on it after the hearing occurs. And in fact,
Yep.
well, let me hold on, Crazy Bean. Let me see where I have that's pulled up. Where give me 1 second. I apologize. I thought it would be on the laptop. so freaking lovely today.
Oh, his wife is Chinese, so there may be an affinity for the culture there. That might be part of it. Uh-oh, where'd Dee go? Oh, she got booted from the studio. Let's just be patient as she comes back in. Oh, lordy. It's gonna be one of those days, isn't it? Okay. Um, this is bizarre. This keeps happening. I'm telling you, this is so strange. All day we've been having nothing but tech issues because of this. We're gonna blame this, even though I have no proof of it. Yes, daughter. We're waiting for Dee to come back in. Do you want to give your opinion about China spying on our kids through their tech? Hold on, I'm adding you back to the scene. Hold on. Nope. Hold on. This is not back. It says, hold on. Oh my God, this is going to be a day. It's not letting you back up, no matter what I do. Yeah, it's letting you back in, but it won't let me add you to the scene. Oh, there, hold on. Oh, you're back in on the studio. Oh, that's why I can't add you. 1 second. Hey, we got D back. Gremlins, Ghost in the Machine, LOL. I'm telling you, Art, it's gotta be. And I swear there's a ghost in my house. Well, actually, I've heard it, and it stomps around and stuff, but, when no one else is here and the thing likes to flick the lock. We have a hook lock on our bathroom door, and it likes to play with the lock.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I do have a ghost in the house, but,
I know
that's a
you do.
different sense than what he's
Right.
saying, but yes. Um,
Okay.
hold on, I gotta get
So
back in
go
here.
ahead.
So,
I did have the
I
article very nicely highlighted and all of that, but hey, we don't have it right now, so we're winging it again. So go ahead. Can
okay,
you
if
blow
you're
the?
able to
Yeah,
read, do you wanna
I
read
can.
it or
Yeah, I can read it. Can you blow it up just a tad?
we could do a listen to article?
Okay. Can you do a? Can you blow it up just a tad?
I can try.
Okay. I can,
Um,
but I got it. Senator Josh Hawley from yeah, what's MO, Missouri, right?
Missouri,
Yeah,
yes.
called on Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg to testify before Congress after a former Facebook employee alleged the company repeatedly undermined U.S. national security. The American people deserve to know the truth about your company, Hawley wrote in a letter to Zuckerberg on Thursday, adding, the public deserves to hear your response to these serious allegations, particularly since they pertain to American national security. Hawley requested Zuckerberg testify before the Senate Judiciary Crime and Counterterrorism Subcommittee in an upcoming hearing titled A Time for Truth, Part 2 Oversight of Meta's Foreign Relations and Representations to the United States. The letter came one day after the same subcommittee heard from Sarah Wynne Williams, the former director of global public policy at Facebook, who told lawmakers Meta executives repeatedly betrayed American values during her 7 years at the company. When Williams accused Meta executives of working to win favor with leaders in Beijing to build an $18 billion business in China. Company executives lied about what they were doing with the Chinese Communist Party to employees, shareholders, Congress, and the American public, she told the subcommittee chaired by Hawley. The former Facebook employee claimed Meta executives provided the Chinese Communist Party with access to user data, including that of Americans, and went as far as to claim Meta's artificial intelligence model contributed to the success of Chinese technologies like AI startup DeepSeek. The Hill reached out to Meta for further comment on Hawley's letter. Meta has pushed back on Wynne Williams' testimony, maintaining Zuckerberg had been public about the company's services in China. The fact is this: we do not operate our services in China today, Meta spokesperson Ryan Daniels told The Hill on Wednesday. Meta said it regularly discloses the fact it generates advertising revenue from Chinese-based advertisers, but this does not mean it operates services in China. Hawley claimed that Meta tried desperately to prevent him from holding the hearing where Wynne Williams testified. They have threatened her with $50,000 in punitive damages every time she mentions Facebook in public, even if the statements she is making are true, he said. Facebook is attempting her total and complete financial ruin. They're attempting to destroy her personally. They're attempting to destroy her reputation. And I think the question is why? Wynne Williams has gained national attention in recent weeks following the release of her memoir, Careless People, a cautionary tale of power, green, and lost idealism. The
I
memoir,
think they mean greed.
yeah, greed instead of well, maybe it's the Green
Oh,
New
money.
Deal. The green, yeah, maybe it means money, the Green New Deal, who knows? The memoir details Meta's relationship with China, along with claims of sexual harassment by her former boss at the company. The book was widely popular, reaching the top 10 on Amazon bestseller list despite efforts by Meta to halt sales of the memoir. I find that interesting too.
Okay, that's it for that article.
Why did they want to? Why'd they go and try to stop that if there
You
wasn't
only try
much
to
help?
silence people if they're being honest or it could
Right,
hurt you.
right. So that's what we have for the Facebook piece. And as this story evolves, we will continue to bring you information on it. I'm not sure how quick this next hearing is going to be with Hawley, but as it progresses, we will let you know. Again, I think it's a disturbing piece. I'm not sure how many people are aware of what's going on. And the funny the funny thing was, sometimes I do go out and post just a story on Facebook. And I wanted to take this, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to repost the hearing, and then I'm like, you dumbass. Facebook would definitely block it. So it was pretty funny that my head went there, like, oh, let's share this and get the word out. But luckily, I stopped myself before I sent it. So sometimes
Yeah.
we do stupid shit, but it is. I hope that I would love to see him go down, but nothing's going to happen. What are they going to do to him? Nothing.
Mhm.
They don't do a damn thing. And meanwhile,
'Cause of
China
the
has.
money that comes
That's
from
right.
it.
That's right. And meanwhile, China has everything now. My question is, what would China do with everybody's information, photos? Uh, they have AI working on stuff. What exactly would they do to harm us? If they have all my data, what could they do to me? Obviously,
Um,
banking.
not much at your age and, given
What
your
does
health
that mean?
and not working. What are they gonna do? Ruin your credit? What are you gonna use your credit
Oh,
for?
my age. We're bringing up age again
Well,
already.
my age, even my
Okay.
age, what are they gonna do with it? I have no money coming in,
Mhm.
I'm not working, I'm
Right.
not worth anything, so, yeah, go ahead, steal my stuff. Hey, maybe boost my credit score for me.
Yeah, I don't know what is behind the plan. Maybe we all get an AI out of this that comes, along beside us. I don't know, but
I
we'll
don't want jack shit with AI.
Yeah, well, I know you don't. I feel that while I don't want to know, we have to know in order to protect ourselves, just like we do with
Yeah.
anything else. You got to know the enemy so that you know how to respond and react to them. There's shit that I don't want to know, but I make myself watch it or look at it because it's a how am I going to respond to it if if it shows up.
Mhm.
So that's, I mean, unfortunately, AI's with us. I mean, look at what you encountered because you were out of control on X. And you can't control yourself when you're up there. And what did X do to you? And you tried to reach out to them, and you got this the standard AI person. Listen to me, AI. You
Yeah.
got the AI, whatever we want to call it. Uh, you kept getting that response back every time you tried to call, right?
Yep. I don't like it.
I know. I hear you. Alrighty.
So,
What up?
what did you want to
Uh,
cover next? We
Go
have quite a bit that we
go ahead.
had. Um, so,
You're in charge now. Go ahead.
well, I don't know what you wanted to cover next. We have a couple videos. We have some articles. We have that liberal hive mind not happy with Tim Pool at the
Yeah,
moment.
we could show that one too. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, Crazy B and I know that liberal hive mind isn't at times too thrilled with Tim Pool, but this particular piece, I was quite surprised how aggressive liberal hive mind was against Tim Pool. And I'm not saying that he's right or wrong. You guys can make your own decision on that. It's a subject that we have covered in the past, hence my pulling this forward for Sunday. But I was quite uh, I couldn't believe that one content creator would go after another content creator like that. I don't really think I've seen that much. Have you, Crazy B?
I have seen it a couple of times.
Okay. And
I have
has
definitely seen a few.
has uh, has there ever been a outcome between the two creators, or
Oh, I've seen it escalate really bad. There's cases of lower level, like, smaller content stuff or moderate sized ones going at
okay,
each other.
okay,
And where cops have been involved in lawsuits and stuff. It's all kinds of over the place stuff. So,
oh wow, okay,
yeah.
all right. Well, let's see what this is about then, and we'll go from there.
Alrighty. Um,
Because at the end of the day, I like Tim Pool, and I don't think he does.
oh, hold on. I got to back it up. That's right. He starts right off with it. I did it.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Oh boy, now this was an embarrassing take. I mean, near credibility shattering. Now, I don't want to go that far just yet, because at the end of the day, I like Tim Pool, and I don't think he
Hi,
deserves a lot
MJ.
of the
Hi,
hate that he
Crackle.
gets. And of course,
Hey,
giving bad
Crackle.
takes is kind of part of the business. Everybody's done it at some point. You can't get
It's all
everything right
good.
100% of the time and always have the best, most trustworthy analysis, but there's also levels to this stuff. And this particular Tim Pool situation, yeah, it's bad. It's real bad. Tim just went on a rant on his podcast defending Carmelo Anthony, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this. This has got to be one of the dumbest arguments I think I've ever witnessed.
I did too.
And he makes it so confidently, too. Let me show you guys Tim Pool's take on the Carmelo Anthony situation. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so just take a look at this.
For one where he says, nothing matters but this. He was at a school event at the wrong team's tent with a knife. He clearly chose murder than to walk away, cut and dry here. Nope, wrong. Imagine you are invited to a party at someone else's house and you are legally carrying a firearm. And then a fight breaks out and or like an altercation breaks out between you and some guy and, there's drinking involved or whatever. I'm not trying to make a one-for-one scenario. I'm trying to create a potential scenario separate from this one with similarities. You go to a party. Let's say you go to a party. And some guy starts saying stuff like, yo, man, get out of here. And you're like, I can do what I want. I was invited to the party. Verbal altercation escalates. And then the dude, you're standing there and you pull your sweater back and you got a gun. You put your hand up and say, don't come close to me, bro. I'm warning you right now. Do not come close. Do not take another step. Then the guy grabs your arm and makes a move. So you draw your weapon, and you use it. Okay, make the argument you have no right to defend yourself when you're being attacked by a guy. Make the argument. By all means, go ahead and do so. I ain't going to do it. Not in the, I don't know the circumstances.
can.
You can
We
argue that
did.
you're in a place you're not supposed to be. You can argue it's that guy's house, and it doesn't matter. A guy can invite you into his, your neighbor could be like, come on over, brother. And then if he gets physical with you, you can defend yourself. And then what? The police are going to be like, well,
Hold
you're
on,
in his
I gotta
house.
stop.
Would you
One,
stop?
you're not supposed to have alcohol or drugs in your system if you carry a gun and use it. You will go to jail as well. Two, it was a school function. You're not allowed to legally bring a weapon there.
Right. And
Yes, it's called
okay, and
brandishing. That's illegal. Thank you.
yes,
That too.
and what about the whole issue of just because somebody touched you does not
Does not
mean
mean they
that
assaulted you.
self-defense. That does not mean that they have like punched you in the face or hit you in the chest or did whatever. A touch does not warrant self-defense.
No, it does not. And again, I will hold to that. And yes, brandishing is very illegal. And you are not supposed to fire your. If you go into a bar, you pull out a gun. Let's say you're in a bar fight and you pull out your gun, but you've got alcohol in your system. You now have assault with a deadly weapon.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, you cannot know your state laws before you carry a weapon. And that still negates all of his bullshit because it was a high school. No weapons allowed.
Yeah, it doesn't correlate.
It doesn't even come close. Dude, I've got a gun is also assault by itself.
Mm.
Mhm. Yes, because you're not supposed to have drugs or alcohol in your system when you discharge a weapon. So, yeah.
Yeah, I used to like Tim Pool. It's been, oh man, I'll catch him every once in a while if somebody makes a recommendation about something, but I really quit watching him. I think I would say when he made that move to his new home, and he was having issues with police and then having to have security around his house, and there was an incident that occurred in his studio where somebody came in with a gun, and it was a weird everything about started to get weird, about always people on.
Yeah.
Everything was weird. That's all I could say. And I just quit watching them. But when
Yeah.
Liberal Hivemind, as I said, brought this up and we had covered this incident and had the discussion about, the knifing of
I
this.
didn't know Tim Pool had lost his damn mind.
Well, why don't you continue and we'll see how far he's gone.
And it's like, yeah, you invited me in.
Is this guy freaking serious? This is the standard now? I guess Tim Pool is making a claim that we're being inconsistent, right? I guess every situation now, the slightest physical altercation is now means for using deadly force. If a kid gets pushed at a track meet, they have the right to whip out a knife and stab somebody in the heart? I guess we're just living in the wild, wild west now, right? Yeah, that's literally not how self-defense works. Being pushed once during a verbal scuffle is not justification for a fatal stabbing. Self-defense is based on proportionality. You respond with force only when you are in legitimate danger, serious bodily harm or death. A push during an argument? That's not life-threatening. It's an unbelievable, unjustifiable overreaction. If Austin Metcalf had completely lost the plot and he was charging at the kid, yelling threats, claiming he was going to end him, fists were flying, or he pulled out a weapon, okay, then you've got something to work with. But according to what we're seeing in the police report, not even close. Just take a look at this excerpt right over here. Austin, the victim, told this male that since he did not go to memorial, he had to leave the tent. Austin and the male went back and forth, and then Austin stood up, pushed the male to get him out of the tent, and a witness said during this time of arguing, the male reached around in his bag, and it was at this time that the male took out a knife and stabbed Austin and then fled the scene. So he was asked to leave the tent that he didn't belong in. They got into an argument, he was pushed once, and then Carmelo Anthony reached into the bag, according to witnesses, pulled out the knife, and just went and stabbed the kid in the heart. He wasn't running away, he wasn't trying to escape, he wasn't facing a serious threat of bodily harm. No, he got pushed once, and then reacted by reaching in his bag and escalating the situation from a teen argument to full-blown homicide. And Tim Pool, for some reason, thinks that his house party comparison justifies that action? It's It's unreal. And the comparison itself also really doesn't make much sense either. He's making a claim, I guess, that you could trespass on somebody's private property, then refuse to leave said property. And if the property owner or somebody then attempts to physically remove you, again, not try to kill you, just physically remove you, the moment they even put their hands on you, as long as you gave them warning, you have the right to shoot them down like a dog. That is one of the most insane things I think I've ever heard in my life. And look, I know some people are huge Tim Pool fans, and they get really angry if you criticize them. I mean, anytime I talk about anybody on the right, I'm always getting flack for it. But just because we're perceived as being on the same side in the online ideological debate doesn't mean I shouldn't call this out. This argument is completely batshit insane. There's no frickin' way.
I have to agree with him on this one.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah. And like MJ just pointed out, then he tried to throw the blade away to hide
Right.
it. Yes. Yep. And again, this is not even remotely close. Know your state laws, but it's still, again, even on school property, no weapons.
Mm-hmm.
All of this doesn't matter. The kid should not have brought a weapon to a school event.
Exactly.
How, like, there's no justification, period.
That's what
There
we
is zero
right,
justification for this.
and that's what we said before. Violation of school rules, number one.
Yes, I've just had it with people making these bullcrap correlations, examples. And the kid had a weapon on school premises. No go. Plain and simple. No go. All
I
right. Hold on. I think there's more to the story than we've been told, but that could never justify the outcome. Exactly. Uh,
right.
even if there's more, let's say they had argument outside of school and the kid decided to push it too far here, but I don't know. The fact
It
is,
it
there's
yeah,
zero defense to this because the kid brought a weapon to a school event.
yes. I'm aware of a personal situation where there was a kind of like a bar fight, and guns were drawn at the bar, same situation that you're talking about. And all I can say is God was looking out for certain people, and I mean, it was family members, and they had been drinking. Why they took their mine didn't take their gun, thank God, but people in the group did, and got into a huge fight. Fists were flying. Fortunately, before the cops got there, they all dispersed. But what they don't understand is the seriousness of taking a gun into a bar, people drinking, things escalating,
Yep.
and somebody could have been shot and killed. And I mean,
Oh yeah.
we're not talking like you get to take this back, like you just get to stand up and keep going. We're talking this is potentially life altering to the person that you shot and to the person that did the shooting.
Yep.
You know, you could potentially be in jail for the rest of your life. If you have children, you're not going to see those kids grow up. You're not going to be with your spouse. I mean, are you at
Hmm.
or where is the sense of again of responsibility? And we're talking adults here. We're not talking, young teens or
Teenagers. Yeah.
whatever. But
This is why you should not be drinking.
and
It's
having
like driving,
right.
but except you cannot have zero, like, and especially in the state of Michigan, zero alcohol in your blood to draw your weapon.
Hmm. Well, why they think they have to take it, I don't know. I don't. I also know that some of this is societal. I believe that
Oh yeah.
it is from high school. It stays there in high school and carries through adulthood.
Hmm.
And those changes, if there's not parental guidance, and I would say at times control, um, then sometimes I think you lose some of these people and stuff happens.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
I think it's a hard. You also then worry, you try to teach your own right from wrong, but then they're with other people that could be in a group that don't have that same type of upbringing or value system, and it can be kind of scary. And
Yeah.
it's interesting to say as adults, why don't you stay away from him? Stay away from Crazy B because she's crazy, and you don't want to be, have something happen. Uh, that's a hard thing as an adult too. Uh,
Well, as an adult, you can't stop people from coming around you either. Same
right,
with kids. You
right.
can tell kids to avoid them. You can tell adults to avoid people, but that doesn't mean that person's going to avoid you in return as well.
Mhm, mhm.
I
So,
just it's really again, a lot of stuff is wrong, and Tim Pool's stance right here is the absolute worst I have heard so far on
right,
this.
right. I agree. Then that's one reason we pulled this for you, because we did cover it last week. Uh, we thought that this would be a good follow up to the story and what has been being uh, stated by various creators. And again, as I said, I found it interesting that liberal hive mind called him out. And I believe, Crazy B, you said that you've heard him call him out previously on some other thing.
No, I've heard other content creators call
Oh,
him out.
okay. I thought you meant liberal
I
hive
don't I'd
did.
have to look back to see if there's been other times, but Liberal Hivemind is pretty balanced. When he will call out right and left equally, I
Right.
gotta give him credit,
Yeah.
and he takes a lot of heat for it too.
Right. Right.
And, again, I've been following Liberal Hivemind, God,
For
probably
years.
3, 4 years now?
Yeah.
Something like back when pretty much, I think maybe it was like a year after he got started
Mm-hmm.
that I started following him. It's been a bit, and I'll tell you, it is messed up.
Mm-hmm. Now, again,
It's
this is a prime example of at first I started out liking Tim Pool, then as things progressed, he just isn't my cup of tea. But I make myself at times, depending on the subject, watch people like him so that I know what is in other people's heads and what they're thinking. Because if we don't know that, we cannot make changes in our response to them. We cannot
mhm.
have discussion or dialogue with them to maybe persuade them one way or another. Uh, it's a hard.
Well, it's here's another thing that people also don't, take into consideration, and I'm gonna just use an example. I know someone who's recently getting back into purchasing a gun, and I'm like, "You need to take gun safety again."
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Well, I already know what I'm doing." I'm like, "I don't You think you do. Go back and take it again.
Mm-hmm.
You have not carried in years. It wasn't drilled into you the first time. You should go back and take it again, if not for your sake, but the sake of your kids."
Mm-hmm.
I will tell people they need to consider, you might not know what you think you know.
Right.
And it drives me nuts, and this is why I like to research things and stuff, because I don't know everything, and I wouldn't dare claim to. And I can only tell you what my personal experience and my personal training has been, but in
Right.
this case, he's an idiot.
Right.
The
Well,
sad thing is he has millions of followers that listen to him.
mm-hmm.
Very true.
Right.
And I can't read this completely because I don't wanna get kicked off, and God knows it'll happen for something stupid as that,
Uh-huh.
but Tim went crazy.
Uh-huh. And
Yes, he lost his damn mind thinking that that was a justification to stab someone. The
right.
hell it is. He's gonna be the one who, if he ever gets a gun, he'll end up in frickin' jail, but all it takes is the feds watching this video, and his background check's gonna be thrown out.
Right. Absolutely.
People learn your state laws, learn gun safety, always. Refresh on it every couple years too. Seriously. Like, every state is slightly different, but for the love of God, if you're gonna get a weapon, go get trained on it. Don't
Mm.
just carry it around because you think you know what you're doing because you played Grand Theft Auto. For the love of God,
I thought that counted.
no.
Okay, I'm
We
sorry.
still have 4 minutes, or
Okay.
right about 4 minutes, so let's get through the last of this because I'm gonna have more to say. I'm
Okay.
sure we're gonna have more to
Uh-huh.
say.
Go ahead.
For self-defense to be justified, you need to be seriously under attack. You need to make an effort to remove yourself from the situation to protect your body. Clearly, there was no effort here. It was one of those typical bravado tough guy moments where you had two individuals clearly in a standoff, and one of them escalated it to murder. And he also fled the scene. Now, I know he didn't get too far, but he stabbed the kid and then ran away. What does that tell you? You know, the facts of the case, at least as we know them now based on witness testimony and the police report, seem extremely clear-cut, and I know a lot of people are suggesting that that isn't the case and this is going to be a tough one. I'm sorry, but no. Unless there's some new wild information that completely changes the circumstances here, completely changes the story, absolutely not. And I don't see how Tim Pool could be making this argument, and especially making it so confidently, especially when he himself admits that he doesn't even know the circumstances.
I don't know the circumstances.
But then at the same time, when initially reading the super chat, responded with this.
Nothing matters but this. He was at a school event at the wrong team's tent with a knife. He clearly chose murder than to walk away, cut and dry here. Nope, wrong. Nope, wrong.
He admits on camera that he doesn't know the circumstances, then proceeds to very self-righteously shut down the super chat donor and claim that no, they're wrong, even though he doesn't know the circumstances? I mean, are we watching the same thing here? You don't know the details, you admit it, you admit that you don't know the facts.
This is another thing that drives me nuts. People who will act like they know more than they do, take a hardline stance, make themselves look like a complete jackass, and still manage to have millions of followers sending
Right.
money just so their chat will be read.
Mm-hmm.
Idiot. He's an idiot. I agree. This guy's an idiot. Okay, sorry. Tangent. Going
So
back to video.
it's okay. It'll
But
be
you're
all right.
confidently running defense for this murder? This is a wildly, wildly bad moment. And listen, I don't care
Well,
if that offends people.
but again, we're talking at a school event where there shouldn't have been a weapon in the first place. If it was on the street in some states, yes, or in your home type of thing, yeah, understandable. But this is a school event on school premises with a weapon. So, yeah. But just for your general notice, read your state laws, please. Again.
That's my opinion. This is my show, and so I'm going to say it, whether or not the big mega Timcast fans are offended or not. And I know that I'm going to get flack for this because I'm already getting flack for calling out Tim on X. I got people replying to my post furious, saying stuff like this. Come on, liberal Hivemind, don't keep spreading this nonsense. That clip was only in partial context, which blatantly misleads his argument that we don't know what happened yet, and this isn't clear cut. There needs to be more info on this. I don't understand this defense. We're missing context. The context where he says, we don't know what happened yet? That's not context. And he's making some pretty declarative statements about the situation in response to a super chat.
Nope, wrong.
This isn't a snippet. It's not out of context. This seems to be truly what Tim Pool believes. I mean, he's actively doubling down on his X account. It's a bad take, full stop. Doesn't matter if he added 2 seconds of nuance later, because the entire core of his argument is totally flawed and he delivered it with smug certainty. And I don't think that's a good look. Not to mention the whole issue with his analogy. He's basically justifying trespassing, then acting like someone has the right to use lethal force the second they're touched. There's no missing context there. That's just a bad friggin' take. I get that it's useful to then later on say, well, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know all the details, because he's making that take based on the available details we have so far. We are looking at the same details, and he's looking at the police report, seeing this as justified self-defense, and I don't agree with that. I don't think you have the right to murder somebody in cold blood the moment they put their hands on you. A single push in a high school confrontation doesn't give you the right to kill somebody. I mean, just think about it. I'm remembering being high school age, being in situations like this, being in full-blown fistfights or pushing somebody or getting pushed. It's happening literally every single day, constantly across the country. Are we now expecting kids to go to school concealing knives just in case one of their peers puts their hands on them so they can then respond by stabbing them in the chest? It's completely insane.
Yeah. I cut out the end, but yeah. It is completely insane that this even happened. that
Right.
this was even, again, I still stand on the grounds. It was on school premises. There should have been no frickin' weapon, period. None whatsoever.
Agreed.
Absolutely no weapons should have been pulled at that school. So, all around, Tim Pool's argument is absolute bullcrap.
Yes,
Absolute bullcrap.
I'm very surprised by it.
I am as well.
All right.
Um,
But
the
so
other
that
one I have is the one you have had sent me earlier. It's another liberal hive mind video, but for some reason I don't have the link in here in the chat, so I'm gonna have to pull it out. And we'll try to get through this one really quick. It's a relatively short one as well. Um, Another 8-minute video.
and remember on Sundays what we're trying to do is follow-ups to anything that occurred during the week or just introducing some new things that have happened that we want to inform you of. It's nothing. We'll finish up with economics on Tuesday. Well, not finish, but continue economics on Tuesday. We just feel that on Sunday, most people would probably want to hang with their families. I told Crazy B actually in the summertime, I may be doing this driving in the car on the way home from camp. So it'll be an interesting summer that we're going to have. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, anyway, that's the plan for Sundays is to be, I can't say light and airy because we're doing some heavy topics, but it is to bring you what kind of is going on for the week and to follow up.
Um Oops, I've got two. Actually, I got two more videos from Liberal Hive Mind.
Oh, we were on the ball with him, huh?
Oh nope, we're only going to be able to get to one today, though. We're
Okay.
only going to be able to get to one. Where did this other one come from? I'm
Je ne
trying to
sais pas.
remember where
What's the?
this one came from.
I don't know. Must be the goat.
I don't either. Um,
You can tell. See,
well,
this is why we chose the name Wrecked, right?
I
Because you
don't remember where this link came from.
okay.
So,
Just saying
um,
that you understand now, audience, why we chose the name Wrecked Sisters. Because we both have been erect today, and we
well,
are still
I
wrecked.
don't have a link to it. I do apologize, but y'all can just go follow his channel and find the whole video there if you want it.
Maybe we should have a ship on an island as our shipwrecked or something. No, we
Yeah,
want we
something
just
like
need
that.
it. Yeah, something like that. But yeah, that's how this all came about. Was I'm telling you, every day probably one of us say in some form or fashion about something in our life going on, saying I'm a wreck, and that's how we came up with the name Wrecked Sisters. So the commonality is between the two of us is similar. We do have some differences. We have had a couple arguments, but we've always made it back to one
Yep.
another. We've never spent any time angry or, apart from one another. We have gotten loud with one another, but for the most part, uh, everything has been working out well, I think. And if anybody cares to comment on the programming that we've done or would like to see different formatting, we're down for it. Put it in there. Uh, just wait till you see what's planned by people who made comments in the Discord. Oh, just do wait for next week. Uh, that's funny. But yeah, we had some people make comments in the Discord, and because of that, you'll see our response next week. So I'm looking forward to it. If I could ever get the frickin' things to work, but that's another story we'll tell.
Yeah.
And that was part of our crazy bee day this morning for 2.5 hours. And if you thought this was technical difficulties, you should have seen that, right? But anyway,
Oh God.
I digress. Yeah. Oh God is right, wasn't it? By the time it
Yeah.
was over, I think Crazy B probably woke up in a good mood because it was what 7:01 in your time, right?
Yeah.
When I sent you the DM and said I need help, and
Uh-huh.
she called me immediately, and then by the time we hung up, boy, all my shit was just placed on her, and she was crazed as much as I was. But anyway, I digress. I apologize. Go ahead, hit it, Crazy B.
Okay, and I'm trying to remember what this video is about, so I'll refresh my memory as I go. Hi, Blue Rose.
Hey, Blue, how you doing?
So let's
So,
watch this
so we're
together
both.
because
This
I
is a
can't
guest. This is
remember.
one of those guest videos that we're doing. We don't know what we're
I,
talking.
I think so because, like I
Okay,
said, I can't even figure out where the hell I put the link for this. I'm not sure.
okay.
Um,
Well,
but
let's be
anyone who knows the
surprised together.
channel, go find it.
Yeah,
So I
we'll
actually
be
first want to start
surprised.
off with this little CNN panel clip. One of the guests on Abby
Oh,
Phillips' panel made actually a pretty coherent point.
The Democrat platform shaping up. Raise taxes,
no,
be easy on China,
no.
and don't cut government spending at all. The only thing we
That's not
haven't talked
accurate.
about is the
That's just
border.
not true.
And tonight,
That's not
Wait,
Jahana Hayes, the congresswoman
is
from
this in the
Connecticut, saying
wrong
she
one?
would.
Hold on.
There, this
I think
one
this is in
probably
the
goes
wrong
with
one.
tariffs,
I
or
think this does. So nope.
but
Hold on. Let me swap this out.
but I think there might have been a part that might have been relevant. But throw it in tariffs and whatever part played for
No,
today, fine.
no. I'm going to put up the one. No, this is not the right one again. Oh my God, I hate my hands. Don't you? This is the one that was for today. Oh my God. Here we go. I didn't get to editing this. I apologize. This is the right one that you sent me. It's all levels of messed up.
We're messed up, both
Hey
of us.
guys, welcome to the Liberal Hivemind, a channel
Here we
solely
go.
focused on
Yeah,
exposing the
I like
abundant
that.
hypocrisy of the
I like
left.
the hype
They're
there.
insane. They are completely out of their
Does he have
freaking
a bib
minds.
on?
Insane. And I'm not
Yes, he has a bib on.
And is that a bubba there, which I'm
I
not drinking out of that you told me I had to?
I don't really know for sure.
Okay. Or is that that could be a sippy cup? I can't tell.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's kind of like a sippy cup. It's not a bubba. Okay, go ahead.
I think this is the right video. We're
Okay.
about to find out.
Well, if not, well, hey, what the hell? We'll wing it.
Okay.
We could go to a wing and a prayer day. We haven't had one of them in a while.
I know I normally try to trim these down so it's not wasting a watch from him, but go give him a watch, even though I've covered this.
I'm not sitting here trying to be hyperbolic
Go
or
ahead.
anything. At this point, it's a factual statement. The Democrat Party isn't just broken, they're borderline clinically freaking insane. And that's a point that I mentioned yesterday in a video where we covered how Democrats were now standing against
Are you
proof
playing
of
Nick Crazy B?
citizenship to vote in American elections. And I want to
Yeah.
continue building on that.
Oh, no, I'm not. Give me a second. Forgot to hit transition. Now let's try this again.
Oh gosh, I love it. I love this show.
Hey
Oh
guys,
my
welcome
gosh.
to the Liberal
Here we
Hivemind,
go.
a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. They're insane. They are completely out of their freaking minds insane. And I'm not sitting here
I
trying
just
to be
got the meme
hyperbolic
up,
or
Crazy
anything.
B.
At this
Nothing
point,
else.
it's a factual statement. The
I
Democrat
don't
Party
know why
isn't
you
just
can't hear
broken,
it
they're
because
borderline
it's playing the
clinically
audio
freaking
through.
insane.
It
And that's
is
a point that I
playing.
mentioned yesterday in a video
Yeah,
where we
it's
covered
got
how
to be on your
Democrats were
end.
now standing against
Okay.
proof of
Well, I don't hear
citizenship to vote in
anything.
American
I have no
elections.
idea
And I
what
want to
it's
continue
about.
building on that
So
point today with some
let
more
me
examples.
I'm going to pause it so you can finish saying because I couldn't hear you through the video.
I was just saying I don't know what it's about. I have no idea. The meme is just up, and you guys have at it. So you can tell me what it's about. Okay.
Okay, when we
All
get to a point where I know what it's about because you sent it to me. I
good
don't
luck.
know.
I don't know either because all I have is the meme. There's no audio and there's no other visual with it. So I have no idea. This is just
Yeah.
too funny today. You can't make this up. You cannot make it up.
All I know is you sent this to me and you said the whole video pisses me off.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
That's
Here
what you
we go.
sent to me.
Okay. I'll look it up on my phone. Go.
Okay.
This is too funny.
Democrats continue to prove that they are the party of criminals, the party of illegals, and the party of far-left extreme ideologues. You know, it used to be the more corporate-style Democrats ran the party, and the far-left loons were an extreme minority that was certainly loud, but they didn't represent the party as a whole. Well, nowadays, it's completely flipped on its head. The proof is in the pudding. From what I saw last, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is now on the path to beating Chuck Schumer and taking his seat in the Senate. The lunatics have essentially taken over the asylum. The phenomenon has become something along the lines of the Democrats support the darnest things, the most insane, unjustifiable policy stances. Let's continue to build on that concept, shall we? We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so I actually first want to start off with this little CNN panel clip. One of the guests on Abby Phillips' panel made actually a pretty coherent point.
The Democrat platform's shaping up. Raise taxes, be easy on China, and don't cut government spending at all. The only thing we haven't talked about is the border. And tonight...
Here we go.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hivemind, a channel solely
Got
focused
it.
on exposing the abundant.
Hold on. I'm not playing this one because it's about the tariffs. It's just the unedited version.
Okay.
I don't know what is going on.
Neither do
I-
neither do I.
Okay, maybe we need to just
Stop.
10 minutes
today.
left.
Okay.
Yeah, 10
What,
minutes
well, we
left.
have-
I don't know.
Okay, well, we have some. We should have some funny things for the end. Don't we have some goofy stuff?
You got the world life expectancy.
No. What else?
A Doc
the
Rich
mother.
video.
Yeah, that and the mother that.
The one from that was back when Black Lives Matter were protesting.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
I can pull that up.
I still like that. I still think it's appropriate. I just want people to get a feel for. This is their co-host.
I'm having a day.
It's okay. This is one of their co-hosts. What do I want to say? The way that they would act if they would catch their child who actually sat and supported Black Lives Matter. And if I would have been in New York City at the time, this is exactly what I would have done. So this is recirculating, and I wasn't quite sure if it was to maybe Hamas or anything like that, but Crazy B found it and said it went back to Black Lives Matter. But I just want you to know this is the reaction that this co-host would have had should she have found her child in this position. So go ahead, Crazy B.
You want to be paid? You walk out here doing this dumb Get the out of here. Get over here now. Did you hear what I said?
Now I didn't have on my end. I didn't know if it was I didn't have audio on my end. I didn't know if you could play it or not.
I did. The audio should have gone through.
Okay.
I don't know why you're not able to hear it.
Hey, you know what? That's the way the end of the day is going. But in this particular case, while some people may find it very violent, I just say too damn bad. If, as I said, my youngest participated in a Black Lives Matter event sitting on the ground, the street in New York City. If I would have been there, he would have been picked up by his hair and I would have beat the shit out of him. So this mother is a mother. I sent that up to Crazy B with the statement, this mother follows my heart. She's a woman of my own heart. Here's a young adult masked at a rally and participating in who knows what. We all know what transpired during that time. And at some point, there's got to be accountability. If I would find any of my children doing something like this, they know better. They know They have been raised, they know better, and to participate in this. And if I would find them and see them, it's on. I don't care. Sorry. That's the
Oh,
way
yeah.
it's on. At that point, bless
We
you,
need more
whoever's
moms
right.
like this. We
Yeah.
really do in society. More
I
moms like it.
uh and you can see he obviously did not engage in any type of battle back with her. So
Oh,
there
he
has
knew better.
to, exactly, and there has to be some sort of respect back. And like you said, Crazy B, he knew better. Uh, and I don't know what the hell would have happened when they got home. I know I probably still would have been angry, and then hopefully would have had some type of discussion, which I did. And I guess one of the points I want to make with the audience, and I meant to pull it to bring it, and I'll try to do that next time. But any organization that you consider donating to, there are two websites that you can go to. I will get them. You just type in the name of the organization and it'll pull up everything that you want to know about them, who the officers are, how much money they make, where they distribute money to. And if people would have only looked up Black Lives Matter, you would have seen where the money was going.
I actually sat my daughter down when she was about 13 and wanted to join these little protests. I
Mm,
sat her down and we googled the website. We went to the website and we started talking about the wording they used on their website and
mhm.
where the money was actually going to go and all this stuff. And yeah, she never got to go protest.
Right. Uh, Ultimately, what happened was how many did they buy? Three homes, I believe, in
I
the
thought
midst
it was
of,
closer to 6.
it may be millions of dollars in California. They used the money to purchase homes with monies that, people gave $1 here, $5 here, maybe their last 20. People are just ignorant to what is going on. So, again, any organization, I'll get that info that you're looking to donate to, please look into it and know what you're doing, because you don't know where your dollars are actually going, what they're being used for, and who's using it. And this at least can provide a little bit of insight into what's going on. But it just resurrected all these feelings and wanting people to know about the two websites. But yeah, I felt good after I watched that. That made
Oh
my day.
yeah.
That made my day. Sorry, but it did. So, and I think we should have hopefully something a little bit more lighthearted.
I don't think we do. That was about the most lighthearted we had on here.
Wait, you almost made me spit my water out. You got to stop that shit. Okay, we don't have anything else in there. I thought we did.
Not lighthearted.
Okay, what else do we have that's short and sweet?
We have 2 shorts from Doc Rich.
Oh yeah, let's play there. He has the one in there about Trump. We could end with that.
Okay, I'll pull that one up
Okay,
really quick.
and that'll be our last one for today, guys. Obviously, you can see that it has been, Sunday fun day, messed up day. Uh, I apologize for the technical issues we've been experiencing, but we have no idea what is going on. By the way, we did attempt to do some training this week too. What was that set yesterday or was that Friday?
Yeah,
Was it yesterday,
that
right?
was that was yesterday.
That didn't go too well, so
Now,
uh
I can't promise you're gonna hear the next 39 seconds,
that's
but,
fine. I know what this one's about, so but we're gonna end with this and then everybody have a wonderful weekend, rest of your weekend, and a good day off on Monday, and we will be back on Tuesday continuing our economics program. And before we do end this, I do want to tell you, and I've told you before, how great Crazy Bee has been in pulling a lot of this off. With doing the studio and then watching her today edit videos, she is on the ball and she is just phenomenal in what has been going on behind the scenes that takes a lot of time, a lot of energy. I certainly appreciate what she does. Hopefully, someday I can be as good as she is. Uh, it's a lot of work. It takes a lot of time and a lot of work. So I told her I think she should be the production manager. Then I elevated her to production director, but I think she should be the executive director of production for Wrecked Sisters. So anybody that agrees with that, give us a thumbs up in the comments and we would appreciate it. So with that, I'm done. I'm done for this
All right,
Sunday.
let me hit play.
They never show videos like this, but you know I will.
Jesus wants to be Lord of your life. Prayer changes hearts and transforms lives. It uplifts the soul, inspires action, and unites us all as one nation under God. Our country was founded on prayer.
I
Our
hope I don't get in
communities
trouble for the
are
music.
sustained by prayer, and our nation will be renewed by hard work, a lot of intelligence, and prayer.
So, yep, Trump's putting out that prayer helps people.
But he is the what? Antichrist, I believe they call him.
Some people, yeah, actually think he's the Antichrist, which, yeah.
Yeah, right,
Anyways,
right. But that we don't, as Doc Rich said, we don't see him often in that light. And
the media doesn't like to show it.
correct. Yep, they like to show, everything that's bad about him. So I think it's important again that we see all sides of a person. And so what we can find for you, we will show you. Again, we don't have all the answers to everything. We don't have all of the information. We're providing you with what research we have in hopes that you'll go and look for yourself. And if you do find things and want to share it with us, we're more than glad to take a look at it. We're not saying we're right. We're not saying we're wrong. We're just presenting what crazy be, everything that we possibly can find on a subject, good, bad, and ugly, I guess. What would you say?
That's basically what it is just trying to get it all available for everyone to watch and learn with us.
Hmm. I agree. All right. I say hit it. We're done. Are you ready for the outro?
I don't
Everybody.
have an outro created yet because we haven't taken time to record an outro.
Hey, what's a couple days? What's a couple another 2.5 hours to figure it out?
Oh, it's easy to figure out. It's
I
just
know it
getting
is.
it
I
together
do.
and getting it
I
right.
We'll get it. We'll get it together. We still don't have our act all together. And when I asked Crazy B when that would be, she said she doubt it would ever be. So, you guys need to go along with us and just know we're never going to have our shit together. Uh, some days might be look better than others, but other days might be a little bit on the rougher side. And we've yet to experience the stuff that's forthcoming. So uh, when I have the baby and the almost 9-year-old full time over the summertime, that'll be fun. So, hmm that, the goats, the chickens, everything else. I don't know how I got roped into all of this, but it will be all right. I'll just call Crazy B. She told me to get a baba anyway because I spilled my drink, so I think it'll all come in handy. And
I
she told
think it will too.
Yeah, Andrew told me to use a pacifier at bedtime, which I just might have to start doing that as well, so I don't go crazy.
Well, if it works, go for it.
Well, that's what you told me to do, so I might have to try it. But I do. I truly appreciate Crazy B, all the work behind the scenes that you've been doing, because it's a lot. And when I saw exactly what she was doing and how she was doing it, it's a very intensive type of work to pull off what we're doing. And most people, I don't think, are doing that. Crazy Bee, is that correct? The way that we're
I have yet to see it.
okay, that are doing the videos the way that we're editing, and so we hope you enjoy it. And with that, I'm shutting up. I'm done. I said I was done, what, 4 times already? I am finished.
Yeah, I'm just figured I'd wait till you're actually done.
Okay. Well, I'm done now. I'm just shutting up. I'm done. It's done.
Okay.
All right.
All
Have a
right,
good Sunday,
folks.
everybody.
We'll catch you later.